What's going on, people? It's your man the YB back once again. So, I talked at length about, yesterday I did my reaction to Wardley versus Clark. And I talked at length about how Frazer Clarke he didn't go over and above. Yes, he may have been knackered, but he didn't have that. I saw several points in the fight, you can say. Anyone, pagan children. At several points in the fight, it's clear and obvious. Anyone can watch it and say, hey, Fabio Wardley is going for it right now. And I believe in any top level fight like this, when you're making over $1 million, or when you're in a big stakes moment like this was, after a fight or during a fight, you've got to at least say to yourself, fair enough, no one's saying every fighter needs to go in there, and be on their Mike Tyson, trying to get at it from round one, or their Pitbull Cruise. I believe it is every fighter's obligation, though, when their opponent is in a predicament. Heavyweight boxing, people. When you see your opponent in trouble, I'm afraid to say, it then becomes your obligation. I don't care who you are. Particularly at heavyweights. I don't care who you are. Your opponent's in trouble. Put your 265-pound having-ass hands together and go get some. Right? I believe that is an obligation. You owe it. Not to me, not to the fans. That's one thing. You owe it to yourself, though. You owe it to yourself to know, hey, listen, I had him hurt, and I tried my best. Unfortunately, Frazer Clarke will have to live with himself and have to watch that fight back and know, hey, didn't really have a go there. Now, I said that long before I heard Frazer Clarke's press conference. So, here's Frazer Clarke's press conference, essentially reiterating what I was saying. Here we go.
I knew it was tough. Obviously, we've seen it before, and we knew about it. When he gets hit, he comes alive and stuff like that. So I was expecting that. I'm just kicking myself a little bit because you just think, why didn't you just turn the screw a little bit? Because I feel like at one point, you feel someone's energy just go. But on the other hand, this is a man that's had so many knockouts. You've got to be a bit wary. I wouldn't say he's the biggest puncher I've ever been in with, but he definitely hits hard enough to...
So, Frazer Clarke says there, I know I had him hurt at some points. I'm kind of angry with myself that I didn't turn the screw. And that's the truth, man. That's why you have to do it, people. You have to do it. Because if you get clipped, Fabio Wardley's a big puncher. But if you get clipped, at least you can say. Because for all we know, that's the thing about being clipped. For all we know, the rematch happens, and you get clipped anyway. That is a realistic possibility, people. Even in the early rounds, when Frazer Clarke was his sharpest, he still got clipped and rocked, and I think round one he got buzzed. So, you could have... The truth is, people, the state Fabio Wardley was in, arguably it was your best chance to get him out of there, or to win the fight definitively in such a fashion that you just move on. If Frazer Clarke had pulled his finger out, this whole saga could be over, and he's on to better things. Now, he's got to go back in there. Fabio Wardley is going to be able to hopefully refine, or at the very least, we know Fabio Wardley is going to have another 4 or 5 good rounds, right? There's no way, or in my opinion, which doesn't mean much, but the odds are pretty low that Frazer Clarke's going to catch Wardley in the first 4 rounds. However, the probability really is just as live as it was before. Wardley is going to catch Clarke. So now you've got Frazer Clarke in a position where he could have won a fight definitively and moved on. Now you've got to go back and, because you didn't want to pull your finger out at the time, now you've got to go through that whole thing again, when it could have been avoided. If you'd have dug deep in some of them rounds, you could have got a knockdown, stopped him, or won the fight definitively. Otherwise, on points. Instead, and it's not like, YB Frazer Clarke tried once. He tried once, ran out of gas, and then went political. I get that. But to not even try once with a man that you said was a cruiserweight, here we are, people. You are now living with regret. Fabio Wardley, everyone regrets losing. or whatever, but Fabio Wardley can't really wake up and be filled with what if. Because really, watch Fabio's performance. You can't what if his performance. What really could Fabio have done? Fabio did what he always does. Of course, top level athletes, they always, don't get me wrong, Fabio Wardley will be waking up thinking, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that, technically speaking. But that doesn't weigh as much as your biggest regrets in sport, in my opinion, are when you know you could have done more. Yeah? Meaning effort-wise. I could have made more effort. And almost immediately here, you didn't hear Fabio Wardley. Fabio Wardley said, yep, I should have made some technical adjustments. You didn't hear him say, yeah, I could have tried harder. I left something in the bank, or I'm a bit disappointed with myself, because that's something you can change. Effort is something you can change in the moment, right? When that bell goes, you can't adjust your technique. You can't suddenly increase your technique level. By the time that bell goes, technique and whoever you are is there. The only kind of variable you can adjust is effort. And yeah, Frazer Clarke, was knackered. I don't know, man. When you see a hurt man, you've got to have a go. You can't be clinching. Frazer Clarke had dude on the rope several times, looking like he's ready to go. And Frazer Clarke, he'd be the one engaging the clinch people. Fabio would be there on the ropes like this, looking like a victim. And Frazer Clarke, again, I told you yesterday, I was cheering Fabio on. Nonetheless though, I'm a fan of the sport. And when Frazer Clarke had Fabio on the ropes, I went, go on then, have a go. No word of a lie. I think Frazer Clarke got like 3 punches off. I was like, go on then, do it, have a go. Next thing you know, Frazer Clarke's jumping in, engaging the clinch. I was like, what the... I couldn't believe what I was seeing. As a heavyweight. Couldn't believe it. And I knew this was coming. I knew it was coming. Before the fight, Frazer Clarke talked about war and I'm ready to go to war. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, he wasn't. Yeah? He wasn't even prepared to punch up on a dude that was ready to go. Never mind go to war. Go to war would be, hey, Fabio, I'm putting my feet in the centre of the ring and we're getting tangled. He didn't do that, that's for sure. He ain't even want to tangle with Fabio with one eye and nose bust up and losing blood and knackered himself. And the reason he didn't was self-preservation. You heard it himself. Well, I didn't want to hear Fabio punches hard. At that point, yeah, he still punches hard. But that wasn't what you was almost like you were in fear of, well, if I hit Fabio, he's going to come back fighting. That's the wrong attitude to have, I believe. And that's why you lost the fight. Well, tell a lie. Yeah, no, he got a draw, but could Frazer Clarke have had a go and got caught? Maybe. I guess you could argue, well, YB, if Frazer Clarke had had a go and then got caught and got knocked out or stopped, then it would be over for him. Like I said though, the problem is people with that narrative, that way of thinking is, guess what? You can politic your way to a draw, as you did, and then get knocked spark out in 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds next time. And then you'll be sitting there saying, oh damn. Yeah? At least if you have a go the first time and leave it all in there, take all them opportunities. People, an opponent being hurt, that's an opportunity. That's a enter sign. Come get me. And to not seize on that, you may never get that again, people, is the point I'm making here. Frazer Clarke may never get the opportunity where Fabio Wardley's hurt. You have to seize it. And if you get clipped trying to do that, you can live with yourself. Well, man, he was hurt. I had to go. What can I say? The better man won. If Frazer Clarke gets knocked out or loses otherwise next time, both are possible. What's Frazer Clarke going to be thinking? Wow, I played myself. Now, as it happens, as far as the wider context, really, whoever loses this next fight, their level is going to be what it is. Bottom line. So, whoever loses, that is their level. Their level is... I'm trying to think now. What level would you put them? It's difficult, you know, because both have glaring holes. The top boxers, Joe Parker, AJ, maybe not so much Usyk, but the top boxers, they're pretty well balanced. They've got power and they've got skills. And they've got gas tank, things like that. Frazer Clarke, I'm not sure how well he holds up though at the top level of heavyweights. And equally, I can see now, people, you put AJ in there with Fabio Wardley. If he don't manage to bamboozle AJ, it's going to be unlucky for him. He gets smoked. Because seeing what Frazer Clarke did, AJ punches harder, his jab's stronger. If AJ's in there popping you in your mouth with that jab, yeah, it won't be a pretty sight. Because AJ's got that amateur, traditional boxing kind of schooling. And the way Frazer Clarke was getting off on him. And yeah, AJ's gas tank isn't the best, but trust me, AJ can do 12 rounds at a canter. We know that. If that makes sense. AJ's been doing that. He beat Joe Parker doing that. His gas tank isn't that bad compared to Frazer Clarke's. So, I'm not really sure where even the winner of this fight. The loser's done for. The loser maybe gets a mingle with Joe Joyce kind of thing. Or maybe the winner could mingle with Joe Joyce. Or Dillian White. The loser though, the level I'm struggling to see. I guess if... put Frazer Clarke versus... Maybe the loser has like a Chisora. I don't know. Anyway, that's in the future. Let me know your thoughts. This has to be a lesson, people. Don't refuse your chances. Yeah? Pain is temporary. Victory is forever. That could have been your moment. Right? Like I said though, if Frazer Clarke did beat Fabio Wardley, I still struggle. Either of these fighters, to be quite frank, I struggle to see how they're going to mix it with the top echelon. The Usyks, the Furies, the AJs. There's clearly levels. Yeah? I thought Fabio Wardley could box. That's the truth. My bad. I thought he could box and mingle and... No. AJ, Fury, Usyk, Parker. Unless he blows them out. Is it possible? Can he blow them out? Zhang, even throw Zhang in there. Can he blow them out? Well, he couldn't blow out Frazer Clarke. Frazer Clarke's not a punk, but... Do you know what I mean? I don't see the winner of this fight even really mingling at that level. And before the fight, I'd have told you, yeah, the winner of this fight is going to do something. I ain't really seeing that, if I'm honest. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe, and let off the bell 100%, no doubt.